Are we ready? Yes, sir. First, I want to apologize for taking a bit of the time. We were to start at 1, but due to other engagements related to the mandate of the committee, we are starting at this time. So we pray that you forgive us for today. Chair.
Thank you very much. Our apologies again, and thank you for turning up here. We are the committee to oversee the implementation of the 10-point agenda and the NADCO report, acronymed as COIN 10, as per the way the committee reads. This is our press statement. It's a status update of the committee overseeing the implementation of the 10-point agenda and the NADCO report. Ladies and gentlemen, on the 18th of August 2025, this committee that is overseeing the implementation of the 10-point agenda and the NADCO report was officially inaugurated at the joint parliamentary group meeting of ODM party and UDA party held at the KCB grounds in Karen. During this meeting, the committee outlined its scope of mandate in guiding the implementation of the issues Kenyans had raised in the street protests of 2023-2024 that culminated in the Gen Z uprising, where unfortunately lives were lost, many were injured, and there was destruction of property. During this time, the country was on the brink of the precipice. There was a state of suspended animation and nothing was working. It took the bold and selfless decision by our country's foremost political leaders, His Excellency President William Ruto and the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, may his soul continue to rest in peace, to put differences aside and put the country first. The 10-point agenda, signed by the two party leaders, His Excellency, the President Dr. William Samoei Ruto, UDA party, and the late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga ODM party in March of 2025, together with the report by the National Dialogue Committee, NADCO, formed the basis of our engagement. This is a national as well as political exercise. It not only touches on the issues from the two mentioned political parties, but if you look across all the parties and all the issues, if you look at all of the 10-point agenda and the NADCO report, indeed, it concerns us all as Kenyans. It is aimed at unifying the nation, bridging the existing intergenerational gaps, ensuring equality and equitable distribution of resources, dignity for human life, respect for the rule of law, among others. The process is spearheaded and closely monitored by the two political parties under the Memorandum of Understanding that the two leaders signed. It is unfortunate that the key person in this process, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, departed from us, but his spirit continues to drive and motivate the process. The agenda of the committee, as well as laying the framework for our engagement. During the period, we have had meetings with various government and non-governmental organizations with the aim of gathering information as well as acquainting us with the useful content that will form part of our final report to be presented to the two principals, His Excellency, the President, Dr. William Ruto, and the new party leader of ODM party, Senator Dr. Oburu Oginga, at the end of our term in office, and specifically on the 7th of March, when we are meant to give the report. In the evening of last year, we had a retreat at a hotel in Machakos County, which was facilitated by our partner, the Center for Multi-Party Democracy, CMD, in early December. This retreat gave us time to reflect on our task and what is needed for us, considering the whole country is awaiting the outcome of our engagements. Rightly so, I think, because this engagement will allow us to give an overarching information to the whole of the nation about where we are in a process that we are all engaged in. That is the NADCO report itself and the 10-point agenda in addressing the implementing position, the challenges that might come across, where we are, addressing how best can we move forward, so that at the end of the day, the NADCO report and the 10-point agenda is not just a statement that has been put out there, but it's a reality that we can continue going to look back at and assess where we are and keep improving ourselves as the nation seeks to attain what is in the NADCO report of November 2023 and the 10-point agenda. Since then, we have had meetings with government ministries, state departments, government agencies, constitutional commissions, human rights bodies, and civil society organizations. These include a meeting with the CS for National Treasury, Honorable John Badi, a meeting with the Head of Public Service, Mr. Felix Koskei, the Principal Secretary for Justice, Human Rights and Constitutional Affairs, Madam Judith Pareno, the National Gender and Equality Commission, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, the Council of Economic Advisors, and the National Cohesion and Integration Commission. We have also held meetings with Cabinet Secretary for Water, Sanitation, and Irrigation, Engineer Eric Murithi Muga, and the Controller of Budget, Dr. Margaret Nyakango, and her team. This morning, the committee had engagements with the National Police Service Commission, where we had fruitful discussion on matters to do with human rights and the freedom of association under Article 37 of the Constitution of Kenya. We also had a meeting with the Principal Secretary for the State Department of Parliamentary Affairs in the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Her name is Ms. Aurelia Rono. These engagements are ongoing, and in them, we are gathering very useful insights that will help this country move forward. In all these engagements, we are going to specific areas as implementing organizations that we are moving to in the NADCO report, and issues that have and what to be addressed, to see the progress for these and have discussions across these. So these engagements that are going on are going to be very useful for us to collect our data and present the status quo of the implementation of the NADCO report 2023 and the 10-point agenda. Beginning next month, we shall move on to a very important part of our work as a committee, and that's the countrywide stakeholder engagements, where we intend to meet Kenyans right in the grassroots to listen to them, because this is an inclusive process and we want everybody to come on board at the various levels to talk about the NADCO report and 10-point agenda and their assessment of its implementation. We'll be able there to exchange ideas and seek the recommendations on the Kenya that we want. These stakeholder forums will be held in all countries' 8 regions, beginning with Mombasa for the coastal counties on Monday, 2nd February 2026. On Wednesday, 4th February 2026, wananchi from the counties of Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori, and Kisumu shall present their views in Kisumu town, while those from Nyamira and Kisii will have a date with this committee on Thursday, 5th February 2026. On Friday, 6th February, we shall have an engagement with the people of western counties of Busia, Bungoma, Vihiga, and Kakamega, and this will be at Kakamega town, before moving to North Rift region, where we shall meet Kenyans from Uasin Gishu, Nandi, Elgeyo Marakwet, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, and Turkana, and this will be in Eldoret town on Saturday, the 7th, 2026. On Monday, the 9th, we shall be in Narok and Nakuru for engagements with the people of South Rift counties of Nakuru, Kericho, Bomet, Baringo, Kajiado, and Narok before heading to Nyeri town on the 11th of February for a meeting with the people of Nyeri, Nyandarua, Kirinyaga, Murang'a, Laikipia, and Kiambu counties. On Thursday, the 12th of February, the committee will pitch tent in Meru town to listen to the people of Mount Kenya East and Upper Eastern counties of Meru, Embu, Tharaka Nithi, Isiolo, and Marsabit before heading down to Lower Eastern counties of Machakos, Kitui, and Makueni counties in Machakos town on Saturday, the 14th, 2026. People of the northeastern counties of Mandera, Garissa, and Wajir will converge in Wajir town on Monday, February 23rd, for the stakeholder forum. We intend to finish our nationwide tour with a mega stakeholder meeting for Nairobi region, right here at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, KICC, and that will be on Wednesday, February 25th, 2026. This itinerary and the agenda for our engagements will be published in the local dailies tomorrow for the perusal of members of the public. We encourage members of the public to turn out in their numbers, speak to us generously, air their views, and together we shall help build the Kenya that will be favorable to all of us. Right now, we are standing at KICC, and behind us here is the Magadi room, where we will also be receiving memorandum from the public. Any Kenyan who wants to address a particular issue on the NADCO report and the 10-point agenda on any issue, please feel welcome to participate so that you can come on board to do this. I ask Mr. Oguda to give us the spirit of the MOU.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, thank you so much for coming in to stay with us here. We do really appreciate the role that you've played, especially members of the Fourth Estate, when it comes to working with the committee to ensure that Kenyans get to know the progresses we have made and what is in the need that we intend to share with Kenyans even as we move forward. Mine is to encourage the members of the public that as you send us the memoranda, it will be very important for you to get to acquaint yourself with the memorandum of understanding that was signed by the two principals, because that will then inform the engagement that we are going to have. Remember, this is a national process, and we want to encourage everyone to stick to the issues in the MOU, even as you raise your points of concerns and even as you come to the committee to see how best we can shepherd this process together so that in the end, all of us, because this is a national process for every Kenyan, so that all of us can get to have a nation that we can be proud of, a nation that is going to move forward together so that no one will be feeling to have been left behind, a nation that everyone will be proud of, a nation that everyone will feel a part and parcel of belonging in there. And so as we move forward, because we now start embarking on the process of going to the people so that we can listen from them, kindly help us, help other Kenyans shepherd this process together. This committee is there for all of you. Do not feel that, some of you or a part of you is not welcome here. This is a committee for all of us. Please feel free to come to us. We are here, as the chairs mentioned, at the Magadi room. Come and deposit your memoranda with us. If you have any questions, we have our contacts there. You will take them there, and then you can see clarifications on further engagements with us. Remember that before the late Raila Odinga left us, he always reminded us to always be cognizant of the spirit of the MOU that is signed with His Excellency the President. And for those of us who loved and adored him, we want to encourage all of us in the spirit of the MOU. Let us come together and help us build this nation together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And Honorable Fatuma Ibrahim will give us the inclusivity agenda of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. I want to appreciate the presence of this big gathering of the Fourth Estate. Clearly, it's an indication that Kenyans are interested in this 10-point agenda and how it's progressing, what is happening, and all that. I want to appreciate the Fourth Estate. You also reported extensively in the media on some of the challenges. The 10-point agenda, of course, is inclusivity, includes in one of the agenda, and we will look at particularly where Kenyans are included, where are they, what kind of service they are receiving in terms of Article 43, in terms of water, education, food, and other considerations. We will look at the inclusivity at the government level, the national level, in terms of disaggregated, in terms of Kenyans, gender, where the youth are, where other groups are there. The other thing we want to focus on inclusivity is where the county government, in terms of inclusivity in the Kenyan people, in terms of the employment, in terms of providing equitable service delivery, and all that. The other thing we are pursuing in the 10-point agenda, which I believe and is dear to me, is the right to peaceful assembly and protest. We are looking at that, and ODM party leader, the late Raila Amolo Odinga, was interested in all of them, but he put a lot of emphasis on the right to peaceful assembly, demonstrations, and all that. And how can Kenyans, whether young or old, can be protected while they are voicing their concerns and interest. We were with the National Police Service today Commission. They have informed us. We will meet with the IG and the Deputy IG, and we will listen to them what happened, the protest, which was very ugly in this country. We want Kenya to shine regionally, nationally, and internationally. We don't want to see Kenya violating the fundamental rights of Kenyans. I want to thank the media. Yesterday we were with the President. It's not that the President never wanted to see us. We had a schedule of appointments, and he has stated his commitment from the day he signed up to date. We met with the current party leader of ODM, Dr. Oburu, and they are very keen to see the committee's work is rolled out without impediment or hindrance in terms of all support and commitment to that spirit of the letter. We appreciate everybody to support us, to join us, and the work we are doing actually is somehow auditing the Constitution of Kenya. Looking at this 10-point is very broad, and those are fundamental focus of Kenyan citizen. So we will look at how this has been implemented. This country has been regarded as a country with a strong and progressive constitution, legislations, and programs. But I think this committee's work is very unique because it's the first time in history to oversee the implementation of policies legislation, our 2010 constitution, which is regarded as progressive, and the programs of the state. I think you should appreciate that this is the first time this country is looking at where are we in terms of our constitution, in terms of legislation, policies, and programs. Thank you. That is the end of me.
Thank you so much, Honorable Fatuma Ibrahim. And now, especially for the voice of the youth, who constitute a large percentage of this country, we respect your views. We are hearing you. Mr. Kiarie.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. And a happy new year to all Kenyans. For those who we have not interacted this year, my name is Kevin Kiarie, a member of this committee. First is to notify Kenyans that I'm the youngest member of this committee. That is showing the commitment of the two principles led by our president of inclusivity, of putting the young people on the table. As it has been announced, we have had several engagements with several stakeholders, most of them being government ministries, departments and agencies, and even independent offices and institutions. And from our last meeting, which we had today with the Parliamentary Affairs, State Department for Parliamentary Affairs, we agreed that there are a number of issues or bills that needs the input of the committee for us to be able to unlock, and even liaising the two state departments, that's the State Department for Youth Affairs and the State Department for Parliamentary Affairs, such as the National Youth Council Act, that for the longest has been an hindrance for the young people's voice being heard in government. We have also agreed on the fast tracking of the youth bill and the creative economy bill for our creatives in our country. We have also agreed on the aspect of youth inclusivity in political parties and the subsequent fast track of the political amendment bill, so that we have the voice of young people in political parties to be heard. Again, the congresses of youth of these political parties, the youth congresses of these political parties to be funded. What we want to champion, and my role here as a committee member, is even beyond our term, is to ensure that we change the trajectory of our nation. Never again do we want to have a situation whereby one of the agenda items in any government is issues to do with inclusivity of the youth and promotion of the livelihood for the youth. Again, from our interactions with the stakeholders, we are cognizant of the fact of the progress that has been made by government on issues to do with promotion and economic empowerment for the youth. We are looking at one of our stakeholders being the Public Service Commission, so that we talk to them on how we can reduce the number of experience that young people are required when they are applying for jobs. You find, for instance, at the Ministry of Youth Affairs, there's a position of Secretary of Youth Affairs that requires you to have 15 years experience. So for you to get that job, it means you need to be 45 years and above. You are past the youth bracket, yet your principal secretary, who is your boss, is a youth. Some of these raft measures, you'll find them in our final report, and even as we do our periodic report to the principals, like we had yesterday, we are informing them that so far this is where we are, this is where we are heading, and we want to bring every youth, irrespective of your party, whether you're in the united opposition, whether you support broad-based or not, as long as you're a Kenyan and you're a youth, we are looking forward to hearing from you. We are looking forward to your written memorandum, so that your view and your opinion forms part of taking or changing the trajectory of our nation. Thank you very much. We look forward to interacting with you on February 2nd at Mombasa County as we interact with the youth from Coast Region, that is Lamu, Kilifi, Kwale, Tana River, and Taita Taveta. Asanteni.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kiarie. And as this interaction goes on, you will find names that are going to be critical for you to be able to relate with. One is Mr. Meli, who is here. He's the administrator of this committee. And we also have a technical expert called Mr. Adede. So in most of the forums and in most of the communication we'll be making, you'll find their telephone numbers. Please feel free to interact. We have other members we shall shortly introduce, and I allow the Vice Chair, Mr. Bigambo, kindly.
Thank you so much. My name is Javas Bigambo, the Vice Chair of the committee. When President William Ruto and the late Raila Odinga signed or established this committee, they were pressing literally a reset button of governance in Kenya. And one of the recommendations emanating from the NADCO report was setting up an entity that will oversee the implementation of the 10-point agenda. or rather the NADCO report, hence the establishment of this committee. Members of the press, you may have noted, just as have we done, that over the past couple of days, there's some communication emerging from a section of politicians indicating that this committee is largely idle, unfacilitated, and that nothing to do with the implementation of the 10-point agenda is going on. As Madam Chair has read out our statement, it is clear, you can see, and we are engaging literally all stakeholders because we are supposed to engage extensively stakeholders in the Republic of Kenya, including members of the public. And so we would like to encourage politicians especially, who are part and parcel of stakeholders in the implementation of the 10-point agenda, to be highly spirited about the nationhood and the nationalism that is the spirit of the 10-point agenda, as Mr. Oguda has elucidated. In terms of the implementation, one of the things that we've picked out already, for example, when we met the Treasury Cabinet Secretary, already we are aware that in 2025-2026 financial year, we had zero-based budgeting, contrary to how it was in the past. We have established in our engagement with Parliamentary Affairs in the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, more than 12 pieces of legislation have been passed to implement various recommendations of the NADCO report. Interestingly, as we speak right now, close to 25 bills are laying in abeyance at the Senate or the National Assembly because of various challenges. And you may recall, perhaps, let us inform you, that one of the most important bills that is also laying in abeyance is the bicameral relations bill, which will ease the relations between the Senate and the National Assembly to help lots of legislative work to move forward. And so it is important that this is appreciated. As I move towards the close, I would like to indicate that implementation of the 10-point agenda does not rest only on the shoulders of the national government or the president. Leaders of the executive and the devolved units, the governors, are also part and parcel of this. Protection of devolution, reducing wastage of public resources, fighting corruption, all these need to be done by all public officials and private citizens. So we'd want to encourage that all of us embrace that spirit of the implementation of the 10-point agenda, because as Madam Chair has indicated, these supersede the immediate interests of UDA and ODM. They are national issues of governance. Last year, the government embraced a Pact of Good Governance 2024, which is keen on enhancing good governance in the country. Ningemalizia kwa kusema kwamba kamati hii inazidi kujizatiti katika kuangalia jinsi ambavyo utekelezaji wa ajenda hizi 10 unavyoendelea na wale ambao ni washikadau wakuu ambao ni watekelezaji. Na tungependa kuhimiza wanasiasa, haswa wale ambao pengine msimamo wao wa kisiasa hauko na swala la broad based, kwamba kamati hii ni kamati ya kitaifa, sio kamati ya uegemeo, na ni kamati ambayo inashughulikia masuala ya utaifa na kuhakikisha kwamba inashughulika na kukutana na washikadau mbalimbali, kwamba kazi hii mwishowe itakuwa ya kuinua swala la utawala katika nchi ya Kenya. Nashukuru.
We will take a few questions. Let's forward one or two. You say your name and the media has to. Let's start.
Yeah. My name is Leonard Wamala from West TV. I have two questions. One.
Make it one, please.
Okay. I don't know if I missed, because I have not heard of the timelines of your operation. When are you supposed to finalize and conclude and give the Kenyans the product?
The product is due for 7th March. This was informed even as we were established on the 6th of August. So we have about 6-7 months to complete the report. So by 7th March, we'll be making the presentation of this report. Yes, another question? Hello, Grace.
Just a follow-up for that. You've been in office since the 6th of August now.
Yes.
For that period,
Yes.
what has the committee been up to? Because when you want to raise against time.
Yes.
And is this remaining timely enough?
Yes. Yeah. So
What challenges do you face?
yes. Yeah. So there's a lot that can be happening back end. What we have now is a matrix for engagement along the 10-point agenda and along the NADCO report. Remember, all those issues in the NADCO report, including the audit of 2022, including the issue of the IBC reconstitution, right coming back to the issue of Article 43, and all the legislative agenda therein. In the NADCO report, for each of the issues that were raised, and the NADCO report just didn't take the initial issues. You know, in their statement of issues, they mentioned various issues. But when the stakeholders came on board, 708 stakeholders, 258 memorandums that received, 60 stakeholders who are expert stakeholders came back. Therefore, the raft of issue increased, and in each of those issues, they made observations, collected information, made observations, and made recommendations. It's a raft of a lot of recommendations, which over time we've put for us to get to this stage, when now we can go to the various stakeholders and say, for example, for the community-based organizations, to the ministries, to the independent commissions, to the state departments, to the various organizations that we're contacting with, these are the issues, means we've had to go into the NADCO report, extract these, and be able to write the specific issues, because these issues are not homogeneous across the board. They're heterogeneous. So one organization is dealing with certain aspects, for example, various commissions and various ministries, and others are dealing with various aspects. So we have to disaggregate. So we send the relevant issue. The third issue that we've been dealing with, which is very important, is the issue of defining our scope. What is our scope for coverage? And we have agreed our scope for coverage is the whole of the NADCO report. So it's going to be a lot of data there that we've been preparing in terms of putting it together and sending out the stakeholder requests for memorandum. If you look at some of the stakeholders' memorandum that we've sent out to, and we have enlisted about 206 stakeholders, and many more are coming on board, some who didn't participate in the NADCO initially, because our focus has been on the implementing agencies. But we do realize that every Kenyan has a right, and every Kenyan might want to say something about the 10-point agenda. So we have disaggregated to realize that on the NADCO report, there are certain issues that we have to ask the implementing organizations. For example, to what extent is the two-third inclusivity issue being put into place? To what extent is the austerity 30% reduction in expenses? To what extent has the debt bill, the wage bill, gone down? Has it reduced from the 12.06 trillion, for example? Where are we standing? What is happening with devolution and the 415 billion that has been sent into the counties? So it's lots of data. My lady, what is her name? Grace. Yeah? So these are the issues. And to put all this together is very, very important for you to get the right output product. So we do have now the output product, and we will share. We'll have various meetings with various stakeholders. We will share. In those issues that we are tackling, we're looking at what is the issue, what is the scope, and then we're asking what is the key indicator? What is the performance? What is the key performance indicator, the KPI? How will we know? For example, Mr. Bigambo has talked about the various legislation that has taken place. So, for example, if we're looking at the Election Offences Act amendment, we know this has already been passed in Senate. So we are going to say our key performance indicator is legislation assented to. If we cannot get to the finality of that key KPI, we're going to ask what is happening? Where is this piece of legislation stuck? And how do we unclog? And then how do we make sure that it is actually getting to the place where it can be assented to? And I'll let you know that in the various ministries that we have gone into to have stakeholder discussions with, many variant issues are rising, which are very, very key and very, very important. We're not just asking about the issues, we're asking about the challenges so that we propose, because our report will cover both political issues, administrative issues. We can also propose various recommended actions that will help the various actions that are needed to take place, because what is our final outcome and output? That as implementing agencies and overseeing that implementation agenda, that the whole of the NADCO report is implemented to its full, and then also the 10-point agenda. So to the people of Kenya, to the young people, to the women, to the men, to the ones who are more advanced in age and the younger people, all these issues are issues we're tackling with, but most of the time, before you can get the data, you've got to prepare. And it's been an extensive preparation process, but from the output that we're able to get out of this, we'll be able to subsume the various areas and be able to give the data from the people who have given this data. We encourage Kenyans, especially those who are able to bring their memorandum, please do so to the Magadi room. We will really appreciate.
Chair,
And also, just a minute, and also, before that, yeah, it's all right. So also, when it comes to the various agenda that will be brought, we want to also indicate that we will have also memoranda that can come electronically. There's an email address that has been given that will make it easy to collect the data.
Chair, do you have enough finances? Because we all know, and one of these indicated, do you have enough finances to go around the country? We know that those are hindrance of finance. Now,
I want to say this. I want to answer you this way, that this program is being prepared from the political parties, and we have reached this stage where we are going out into the counties to do that. Some provisions have to be put in place before we can make a statement like this. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Kenyans would love to hear what is the status of implementation. You have 2 months in office.
Yes. Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Yes.
Where are we in terms of implementing the 10-point agenda?
Yes. Yes.
Remember back there, a senior official.
Yes.
The National Assembly Minority Leader said
Yes.
that 50% are already implemented.
Yes.
Is that the case?
Yes.
And lastly, are you also going to engage the United Opposition?
Okay, so what I've said is that on the 7th of March, we will have the report put out there. What you're asking for is a scorecard, and that is something this committee is considering for the various issues so that we can give an indication. We have had information and also approaches from stakeholders in the United Opposition who would like also to be stakeholders in this process. We are opening this to all Kenyans. We cannot say we don't want from you. What gives us that discretionary power to do that as a committee? We want to receive as much as possible because this is a way in a united format to solve those problems. So we are listening to everybody. We are welcoming any memoranda that comes our way, any insights that are coming our way. We are urging members of the public to speak. And that's why we're going to be collecting the data. In research, we call it triangulation. We're not just going to receive memoranda. We're also going to have public forums. We'll have the people in the counties talk and tell us the issues. We'll have those who can be able to key in via email to do so. So we'll be able to put this together, and we'll be able to relate to where the data is coming from.
Last one. Yes, I've got 2 questions. I'm Chris Ovino from One TV. All right. Yeah, on the issue about the implementation of the NADCO 10-point agenda, we've had a discussion with the President and the ODM party leader. Is there political will from the President that eventually when this report comes out, it will be implemented, it will not take the route that other reports that accuse the report is doing report has taken?
Yeah.
And, on the issue of the scale of 1 to 10, maybe you can just give us how far are you in terms of the implementation of the
I want to contextualize your question in terms of the mandate that we have. Remember, we have a 2-pronged mandate in that sense of the question you've asked. The principals are the ones who signed the MOU and were part of the team that constituted this team. In the mandate that they have put there and in terms of our operations, if you remember, on the 18th of August, we had the joint PG. Every 2 months, we have to give a report to the principals. These principals are able to see what the committee is doing and consult with committee accordingly. So there's going to be a total of 4 reports One on the 18th of August, another that came on the 6th of October, another that went out on the 6th of December. These are progress reports. You know, you're looking at the final product as we are going through the process. And then the last report to the principals is going to be on the 6th of February. And then to the nation is going to be on the 7th of March. Thank you very much, members. Have a good afternoon. Yes, so they are our principals, all right? They have sent us for this task, all right? They have sent us for this task, and in our communication with them, as we discuss the various issues, they are very committed to this process.
Maybe just answer. Just answer. Because you have asked a pertinent question in regards to the commitment of the President, under this committee, we have 2 members of UDA, myself and the Vice Chair, Javas Bigambo. And yesterday when we met the President, we were meeting the President in his capacity as the party leader and the leader of the National Steering Committee. Yesterday we were having a conversation with the National Steering Committee of UDA Party, where we were putting them, or we were informing them at where we are in terms of implementation of the 10-point agenda, so that now the Steering Committee on Monday, when they convene the National Governing Council of UDA Party, whereby they're calling all the elected leaders, they're going to inform them as they inform them on the implementation of the manifesto. So that is a serious commitment of UDA Party and the President of the Republic of Kenya.
So,
thank you very much.
Maybe just as to wrap up that, because we have opened up the area of the sessions that lie ahead, and therefore we can conclude on that. Even at the meeting yesterday, we are due again to meet. You know, when we talk about the reporting to the principals, it's meant to be both the principals, and we are doing that to both the principals. So shortly again, and we already had discussions with Senator Dr. Oburu on the same issues. So these issues keep coming up, and we are moving on to interactions. The other important thing to say to you is that a lot of goodwill and disseminating of information and packaging and giving the right message to the constituents will come from the members of Parliament. So even as we go into the various counties, we'll be engaging with them and enabling them to be able also to see where we are, to interact with us in terms of this process, and in the various PGs also give the results of our outcomes, discuss them, even as we move towards completing them, because you always have preliminary results, and then we move into the final results, so that we're all reading from the same pages, so that we can say, for you, as parliamentary group, this is important for you. Can you unclog? For example, if we're talking about bicameral relations, for example, between the 2 houses, you know, what are the 2 houses saying? How can they be unclogged? If we're talking about resources, for example, in the counties, what is happening? The World Development Fund, can the members be put together so that the process and solutions can be found together? So, you know, in our mandate, it says intensive and extensive consultations. And we are making those very intensive and extensive consultations. I thank you and good afternoon. Asanteni sana.
And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live here at Citizen Television. On the bench tonight, it's explosive. I hope you're listening intently, because we've got Suna East Member of Parliament, Junet Mohammed, who also happens to be minority leader in the